Puppy reacts to seeing rescuer. Watch what happens. Dogs remember humans who have treated them well, especially those who are saved by caring souls. Even as time passes, they never forget the kindness that was given to them. The pure love this dog exudes leaves no doubt about the wonderful human he's reuniting with. It's a touching moment between a man and his best friend. Thank goodness for this man's quick thinking. Does Louie look like a dog who spent most of his life in a fighting pit? Didn't think so. That's the misconception, Jason Flatt, founder of Friends to the Forlorn Pit Bull Rescue, tells the Dodo. That's what a fighting dog looks like. Really? All tail wagging and licks and hugs? Everyone thinks these fighting dogs are these 100-pound monsters, Flatt explains. They're usually between 35 and 50 pounds, and they're kept really thin and muscular. Except for Louie. The 2-year-old pit bull type was wasting away when authorities raided a fighting operation in Macon, Georgia in April. He was eating broken bottles, Flatt said. Flatt, who's based in Dallas, was visiting Macon Bibb Animal Welfare Department when he heard about Louie's case. He was there to pick up an emaciated puppy named Lulu, who at just 5 months weighed less than 10 pounds. When he found out about Louie, who was among 12 dogs seized from a Macon property. The dogs had been left behind when their owner was evicted. Before Flatt left the animal shelter with Lulu, he asked the shelter if he could pick out a dog from the former fighting ring who needed the most help of all. He was introduced to Louie. Flatt would end up taking him home too. With ruined knees from a lifetime at the end of a heavy logging chain and a shattered elbow from a bite, Louie was deemed the worst of the worst. But his heart proved to be the brightest of the bright. Fighting dogs are not bred to be human aggressive, Flatt said. People mistake that all the time. They're amazing for their resiliency. As much as they may sometimes hurt another animal, they want to please a human twice as much. Louie may boast a mighty heart, but his knees are weak and will need 2 separate surgeries. He'll be administered steroids in the days ahead, as well as a heartworm medication. It'll be at least 6 months before he'll be ready for his forever home. Meanwhile, Louie's ex-owner, a man named Martin Luther King, was charged with dogfighting to go along with 11 counts of cruelty to animals. To have a name like that, a guy who was all for equality and rights and was such a peaceful person who did things the right way, Flatt said. He's currently looking to buy a 14-acre tract of land behind his existing property of 16 acres in Dallas. I'm trying to build the country's first hardcore pit bull shelter, he said. Flatt's plan calls for a multi-million-dollar, 20,000-square-foot building. It'll feature a swimming pool, indoor and outdoor play areas and runs, as well as veterinary and grooming stations. A part of that facility will be dedicated to former fighting dogs as a sanctuary for those seized in raids. If I think about it too much, it becomes overwhelming, his wife said. We do not recommend anybody else do this, but I'm so glad my husband was brave enough to save my dog and save himself. Dogs can stay there as long as they need to, Flatt explains. If they can't be adopted out, they'll stay there for life. And if they can get adopted out, as soon as one leaves, we'll get another one. That's my plan, man. And if that plan works out, it will indeed be a better world for dogs who have already been through so much already. A flat world.